All right. Tonight, we're going to do a little bit of a hunt. We're going to do two nickel rolls, 1 penny roll, and a dollar. Maybe an hour. Is that an hour or not? I don't know. We'll find out. Just to save me from getting too dirty here. Throw on some Black Glove Love. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a handful of pocket change that the wife gave me. And then we'll get into our 2 nickels, 1 penny, and 1 roll of dollars. And see if we can keep this at an hour. So, a 2023 P. Not putting anything under the microscope tonight. We're just sorting. We're just going to hunt these rolls and sort them out a little bit. See if we get anything. We'll do a microscope another night. So, 2023 P. Nothing in this looks extremely old. 3D. This is just pocket change out of the wife's purse. We'll be able to see if there's any major errors to the naked eye anyways. A lot of fairly new stuff. $13D. $05 Buffalo? Nope. Lewis and Clark. See, is that the last nickel? Looks like that might have been the last nickel. 07P on the Roosevelt. Nothing standing out there. We're just looking for naked eye errors. 84D. Looks like a D. South Dakota 06. A Shenandoah 14. A P, Rhode Island. Another P. Fort Moultrie, 2016. Couple more coins left here. A D, Mississippi 02. A P, Everglades 14. With a little bit of who knows what. And this looks like an older one. 90. 90. Everything looks pretty decent to the naked eye there. And looks like we got about a half a dozen pennies to look at quick. And then we'll get into the rolls. 91D. Guessing we're not going to find anything crazy in the pocket change today. There's a 23. Still in pretty good shape. $23D. See a real shiny one here on the desk. I don't know if the other... Yeah, right there. That one looks really nice. We'll see what that one is. But this one is a 96D. That ain't bad for looking too bad for a 96. And I'm guessing this is a fairly new one. 24D. That's what I would have guessed. Cool. All right, so now we'll get into the hunt here. I'll take a sip of coffee. So I was at an auction today. And I passed up bidding on a couple different coin lots. I don't know. I just didn't. In fact, I didn't even stay to see what they went for. I should have probably stayed, but maybe next week. We're going to do 2 nickel rolls, 1 roll of pennies, and 1 roll of dollar coins. So it looks like Sacagawea on both enders of that. So today I took some coin in, got a $170 worth of coin, basically just flipped coin for coin rolls. So I've got $60, maybe more of nickels and stuff. So we'll be hunting for a couple videos anyways. But rather than do like a ton of rolls all in one video, I'm just gonna, do 4 to 5, and maybe that'll turn into about an hour video maybe. And that's about as long as my coffee will probably hold out. So let's go back. Actually, we'll set these off to the side. And we'll crack the first roll of nickels. So I requested all of my rolls this time to be bankrolled and no customer rolls, just because I just think you would do better with bankroll. Customer rolls just seem to constantly be I guess searched. I just don't usually find too much in customer rolls. So let's go over here and we'll just start going through these here. First one, 1978. For the most part, I set aside all the 60s because the 60s are where I kind of like to start my true keeping in the collection of nickels, or actually anything. O2D. Like I said, we're just on these initial hunts of the roll. We're just looking to see if there's anything that like majorly stands out as maybe a error or a defect. Just with the naked eye, these will eventually go to under the microscope in other lives. So in a Louisiana purchase, 04. 21P. Looks like it might still have some step. It looks like there's maybe a couple old ones in there. A 74. Well circulated. 95P. Naked eye wise, you know, you're just looking for significantly noticeable die cracks or die chips. And here's a newer one. Still in good shape, 23D. We might have an opportunity for a couple. There's a 62. So there's the first keeper, and it'll be a D. Let's go to the nickels here. Let me get my nickels up. I don't think there's anything extremely low minted in the 60s, to tell you the truth. 280 million on that, but it is a 60, and that's where we tend to start the keeping, is in the 60s. Pull my chat back up there. 23D. $87D. Like I said, a lot of times you can kind of pick out big die cracks and die chips without putting it under the microscope. 92P. And that's kind of what I'm doing on the beginning of a hunt, is we'll crack the roll, we'll see what's in it, and then they'll get sorted from there afterwards. And then what I'll end up doing later on is taking a handful of all of them from the same decade, and we will put them under the microscope for smaller errors or any double dyeing or repunched mint marks. There's an 81P. There's a 60. So 60P is 57 million. So we wouldn't mind seeing the P on this. It is the D. 60D is 192, but still in our 1960 keep area. 99D. $2003D. 2022. $2,000D. Nothing standing out as flaws. 2023D. Still got a nice pinwheel to that one. Can only get it so close and then it blurs, but looks like steps might still be there pretty well. 2004D. Louisiana Purchase. $2023D. Just trying to do a quick flip of them and then make sure there's not, like I said, a standout naked eye air that you can just see without the microscope. 2023D. $99p. A little bit of damage, I think, there. That's just after mint damage. 01D. Here's a little shinier looking 98D. Still got surface damage to it, but luster is still there, and it looks like it was probably at some point an ender. It's got the ring of death. There's a 70D. 500 million. There's a 64. 64. 64 actually both have a billion. Regardless, D is 1.7. So, but I do like 64s just because I'm a fan of the 64 Chevrolet. 2023D. Got a couple older looking ones coming up. 87P. O1D. That looks like maybe a little bit of damage on 2016. That looks like it's got the ring of death on it too. So it was probably an ender at some point. This one looks a little older, 75D. And a 93D. O1D. $16p. 1970D. Not in bad shape. Still got a little bit of luster life in it. Here's the last kind of dirtier one. 89p. Alright, let's go to our second nickel. nickel roll number 2, and then we're going to do 1 penny tonight and 1 roll of dollars. I didn't look at the enders, at least that ender. Let's see, that ender looks hard to see. With these rolls, you'll never really be able to see the year unless it's one of the newer nickels. Alright, back over to the hunt screen. Nice luster on a 23. Looks like there might be a little bit of damage on the steps. 97D. $15p. Like there might have a couple opportunities in this roll. 2020D. $92D. Here's a really nice looking one. 2023D. I mean, that might be one I set aside because that's still got high luster. I don't think the camera probably does it too much justice. That's almost got proof-like to it. That one maybe just gets set aside for the fact of it being nice. 80. Looks like a P to me. $88D. Give it a quick flip. Make sure there ain't a die crack or something huge that looks like it might stand out. 17D. $23P. Boy, I have to get just the right distance from the camera to get a good shot. No 2024s or 5s yet, or 9s. We're always looking for 09. 99D. So there's a 77, but we only really keep into the 60s. 15D. $16P. 23D. I didn't check the back of that one, but that's all right. 23P. 90D. A lot of gunk on that one, but it's looking like a 90 something to me. There's a 62. Back to 62s. 62. Well, you're looking for the P for 110 million. The D's actually got 280, so. And it is the D. But it is a 60. So we're at 2 1960s per roll right now. 23P. 02D. $95. Is that a P or a D? That's a 82D. Nothing that stands out. 12. Couple more in this roll. 23P. 13D. 77 D. Sometimes it's hard to tell, especially just looking at the screen like I do a lot of times. There's a 70 D. 1 year off of our keep threshold. 2021 D. 87. 1976. Probably at some point maybe was an ender. Looks like there might be a little ring of death there. 2021. Another really nice looking 2023. Still got a lot of luster. Those look nice, but there's really no reason to keep them, I guess. 9. So 160 coming out of this roll. 1960s coming out of this roll. 13D and 1 left. Looks like a newer one. 95P. All right. 2 down, 2 to go. Right at a half an hour, so 4 or 5 rolls, probably about an hour. We're perfect. All right, let's do the penny. Let's see if we can see anything on the ends here. A lot of times I forget to do this. That's a 2000 something. And that's a newer one, so. See if anything looks like it's going to come out on the older side. There's a little bit of a brown one. There's a really nice one popping out. A couple older possibilities. And there's the ender. So we got a little bit of possibility there. Let's take this ender. 15D. 04D. 08. One off of the 09 that we looked for. 87D. A bit of corrosion. This looks like it could be a little older. 83D. I'm gonna pop this over here to just go into the Lincoln Memorial for right now. We'll go into the 80s. So 83D. Basically going to be 6 million. A little bit older one here. Maybe 82. $98D. Some nicer ones looking like they're coming up. 23. $23P. 81D. Let's see, what is 81D? 5 billion. But copper. 23P. There's a 64D. Look at 64D. 3 billion. As it scoots across the desk. But it is our 60s threshold, so 17P. Oh, there's a 24D. It's the first 24. So we're going to keep that just because it's 24. Set that aside. Here it looks like an older one, 74D. $18. Nothing standing out in naked eye airs. 22D almost looks like it's got a fingerprint on it that the camera's picking up. Let's take a look at what 79D. 4 billion. So the positive of that is that it's copper. 18. Let's look at the back just to make sure. Brandon, how you doing, my friend? We're just doing a little bit of coin roll hunting. 07P. We've already gone through 2 nickel rolls, and this is the 1 penny roll, and then I'm going to do 1 more roll, but it's going to be dollars. $2013. Yeah, I'm not a big basketball watcher. I used to be when I was a kid, but definitely not anymore now. Now I'm all my Green Bay Packers. I mean, I may watch the Wolves just to watch them, you know, and I'll pull for them and I'll root for them, but I'm not watching it with any emotion like I watch my Packers. I'm going to try to make these coin roll hunts lives under an hour, or right about an hour. 18. I guess depending on what we find and stuff. A little something on that one. Looks like it doesn't come off. Oh, 1 year off the 09. $16. Obviously not a Packer fan there. You and me will have to have discussions during the season once it starts. Here is a nice looking 22, but the Ring of Death was obviously an ender at some point. '83. '82 and '83 is kind of where you got a lot of those. Well, '83s you really don't have small and large dates, but '82s you do and stuff. This is what an 83p. What's an 83p? 700 million, but there's a double die reverse that we can look for on that. That'll hit a video with the microscope coming up when I get a chance to do a almost a year ago, wasn't it? We talked football and you were a Vikings guy? I gotta get the right spot here on the camera, otherwise it won't focus. 15D. Straight up 2000. And 7D. Boy, the reverse actually looks like it's in good shape. That old coin ain't actually too bad for being 2007. 82D. That's what I thought, Brandon. I thought I remembered you saying a Vikings fan. I think you're in Minnesota too, aren't you? You and me both. 82D. Boy, that's seen some wear. '79, that's been kind of beat up. My mic is going off and on here. It looks like 80D? 80D. What's 80D got? 5 billion. So, doesn't look like we're going to have a wheat penny in any of these. 93. No, I was saying in Minnesota. You and I are both in Minnesota, if I recall, right? 96D. Couple coming up that looks like they might. Oh, look at that. What's the chances of picking another 96D? Last couple here. Some possibility for older ones. 82, straight up 82. And that's got some wear to it. kind of cool how it toned it though. I don't think that camera picks up the toning on that. It definitely has a different looking toning to it. So we're gonna, that one will probably definitely be at least hanged on to. After it goes under the microscope. Ooh, a 70S. Now that's something that's a little different. So a 70S is got essentially 600 million, but there are several variations of it. Small date, high 7. Large date, low 7. And it's got a double die obverse. So I'm going to have to look at the book and see and figure out which one this is. But that is definitely a good hit in the hunt. That might be the, even though it's not the oldest one in the nickels, because I got some 60 nickels. But that may be the get of the hunt tonight. A 70S. In actually pretty good shape too. You know, definitely brown. It's definitely does not have any red in it as far as grading goes. 73. What did I say that one was? 73, so that doesn't really go to the... But it's definitely copper. And an old-looking 93D. 2 pennies left. 88D. And a 2000D. That has been around, so a 70S. That's kind of cool. What else did we keep here off to the side? Oh, a 64 penny. Yeah, so 164 penny. And then we kept that one. So let's... dollar coins. I'm a fan of the dollar coins. I don't care what anybody says. And I actually like Susan B. Anthony's. I think they're probably one of the more hated coins in the hobby. But I don't know, to me they almost have an older feel to them and stuff, you know, even though they're from the 79, 80 area. So I'm always keyed if I get some Susan B. Anthony's, but so $25 here of dollar coins. Obviously a Sacagawea on both enders. But basically we're looking for that 2000p to look for the Cheerios dollar or the Wounded Eagle. Or just, I get these rolls just in case I get any cool, like, ones in really good shape still. And I'm kind of a fan of the presidential dollars. So right there you can see we're getting some stuff with end dates or side dates or whatever you want to call that. Oh, there's something different. We have ribbed. And it's actually, I don't know what that would be. Because it's not Well, would a quarter feel the same? I don't know if a quarter would feel exactly the same. Oh no, it's a ribbed. Susan B. Anthony. For some reason, I didn't have in my mind what that was going to be. So let's pop back to the Hunt 2000 P. Now you might be able to see a wounded eagle with the naked eye, but it's highly unlikely. But we're just looking for things in really good shape here. George Washington. And these are the ones with the end stampings. 1000 and D. I'm gonna pull up the presidential numbers, just because the Sacagaweas and the Susan B. Anthony's are only from a couple years. So George Washington is the first quarter, or the first quarter, the first minted of these. Let's see, was that a D? Are we going to be able to tell without me looking? So it's a D. It's 163 million. But that one's not in bad shape. James Monroe. For a second, I was going to say we're missing the stamping, but I think it's there. Boy, I don't know. I don't know if it's there or not. Nope, I see a D. No, it's there. It's just so worn on this one. I was almost thinking maybe we had an error of missing edge stamping, but we don't. Another James Monroe. This one should be able to tell us where we're going to look. I think I'm upside down on it. There's In God We Trust. And these are, so it'd be a 2008 D. 60 million. So these are a little bit lower. One of my favorites right there. Abraham Lincoln. So I believe, is Abraham Lincoln 10? I think he's, yes, he's 10. So that's a 10D. 48 million. Here's a one, looks like it might be in better shape. George Washington. See if we can see if it's another D. John Adams. Everything looks good that way. $70. John Adams. $112 million. Looks like there's kind of a nice one coming up. John Tyler. So the ones 2012 and later are the NFICs, not intended for circulation. That one's going to be pretty hard to get anything off the edge without putting it under the microscope. It is there, it's just let's see if I can see where John Tyler is right away. John Tyler is an 09 coin. And it's actually too bad you can't tell, because they are, well, P or D is 43 million, so that's not bad. MacArthur, everything looks decent on that there. MacArthur, I don't know where MacArthur's going to be, and that is pretty worn on the side stamping. Here's a nice one. Better shape one coming up here. You can see the difference in this one versus the rest. And I got something in there that is definitely different. That right there is not any of the three that I am familiar with. I can't tell what it is from here because I'm looking at it from 2 feet away, but so let's keep going. Thomas Jefferson, a really nice Thomas Jefferson. That one probably gets saved. We're Thomas Jefferson is an 07D, 102 million, but that's actually kind of a nice one. I'm excited to get to whatever that is at the end there. It'll probably be just nothing, but that looks like a P. Is that a P? Nope. 2000D. Just kind of a run-of-the-mill 1000D. Seen some wear. Andrew Jackson. 2008. We're upside down. It might be something. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know. You are right, Brandon. I mean, you can kind of see it's this one right here that's does not have a design that I am familiar with. But we're going to work our way there. 2008. Is that 2008? Yeah, that's a 2008. Andrew Jackson, 61 million. Here's another Abraham Lincoln. Somewhere. Another George. Another George. Does not look like that 1 and 9 is any closer to the rim than normal, so probably not a major thing there. An 05D. $2,000P. So there's where you would be looking for the Cheerios or the Wounded Eagle. I don't think you're going to be able to see the Cheerios if it was a Cheerios dollar unless it's under the microscope. Sometimes I think you can see the wounded eagle with your naked eye. I believe they've said that it's noticeable. Zachary Taylor. I cannot tell without doing this. That's a 2009. So Zachary Taylor was a 2009 D, 36 million. So a little bit lower for Taylor, but not in great shape. Another George. Just a run-of-the-mill George. 2000 D. That, I don't know. Unless I'm just looking at it wrong. I'm going to do these last three first. 2000P, another one that'll have to go under the microscope. And that's got like a cool toning to it. It's actually got a different color on a percentage of it. That's kind of neat. Okay, so here's a Sacagawea that it is the Native American one. So Elizabeth Pertotrovich. And these went to the side stamping. And that's a fairly new one. That's a 2020D. Let's look. I'm going to pop over to Sacagawea quick. I'm curious as to the mintage numbers. 2020D. This the anti. Yeah. So this is actually 1.2 million. So this is low mintage. Got a little bit of rub or scuffing up there. Oh, actually, I just took that off with my glove. Kind of, anyways. Yeah, I think it's just something that is on there. But it is the anti-discrimination law of 45, so that's a good hit. 2020D, 1.2 million. And what do we got here? James Polk. Nothing significant about that. And another 2000P that'll have to go under the microscope to look at the tail feathers. And then let's look at this. I have no idea what this is. This, I think, is this foreign? No. United States of America, $1. Great Law of Peace. Oh, I bet you this is... Is this one of the other Native American ones? Yes. So I have not seen one of these in person yet. I've not found one of these. Let's see if we can get a... Oh, it's going to be tough. I think it might be tough. All right, we're on the right side. Or we have it turned to the right way. We just got to get the date on it. So this is a 2010 D. At least that's what it's looking like. Great Law of Peace. Is that what it was? Yep, Great Law of Peace, 2010 D. So 48 million. So it's not extremely uncommon, but uncommon enough to where you probably don't see them all the time now. So that's a cool hit. In fact, we're gonna call these 2. Because what did I say? This was a 1.2 million. So we're gonna call those 2 a hit for sure. And I just broke an hour on the video, so those 2 ended up. So what did we do? We did 2 nickel rolls, 1 penny roll, and 1 dollar roll. And so we're calling those 2 hits. We saved a really nice condition Thomas Jefferson. A 62, doing the recap here, a 62D in a nickel. A 64D. 64D I know has got a repunched mint mark. So we will look at that under the microscope here at some point in the future. I've already got a repunched mint mark 64D that I found last week. A 60D and a 62D. So there was 2 60s that came out of each one of the 2 nickel rolls. And let's see. We saved a 64D penny out of the 1 penny roll, and I think this is probably the hit of the night. This is probably the find of the night, the 1970S, which we'll have to do some researching on it and see if there's a high 7 or a low 7, or there's a couple different variations in the 1970S. So we're going to give this another hit and call that the hunt for the night. There's our hits. Essentially $3 out of the $1 roll, 2 nickels out of the 1 nickel roll, 2 nickels out of the other nickel roll, and 2 pennies out of the penny roll. So not a bad hunt. One of these evenings I will end up doing the microscope, because all of these will eventually go under the microscope. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on and basically take all, like, they'll be sorted into decades. So we'll take all the 1960 pennies and run them all through the microscope looking for mint errors that aren't noticeable with the naked eye, and ones you got to have under the microscope to actually find. So we'll do that probably in one of the next streams at some point this weekend. I'm guessing I'm going to do that at least for one night. Try to maybe just do an hour stream on that too. So yeah, it wasn't a bad, what'd I say, 5 roll hunt. I think that's what I'm going to do. I mean, yeah, I've got probably another 60 rolls of nickels that I could do now. You know, and I could do them all in one sitting, but why, you know? So I'm going to just kind of keep doing what I did tonight with the live streams is, you know, do 5-6 rolls for an hour and then call it a hunt. Which is usually what an hour is about what my coffee holds out for. Yeah, I never really collected as a kid. I want to say I got into coins probably, a year ago now, maybe less than a year. But I've like hit it hard, you know, as far as like learning everything and like knowing what to look for and stuff. But so anyways, I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna call it the hour. Get these sorted into the decades that they need to go into for going under the microscope when we do that. Because essentially what I'm going to do is, you know, I take these piles and they all go into their decades. All the 60s go into a little jar and all the 70s go into a little jar. And then we're just going to pull one jar of a decade of something and essentially send them all under the microscope and see what we can see. But with that being said, anybody who watches this on the rewind, thanks for watching. I think Discord's in the description and stuff. Brandon, thanks for hanging out. It's always cool when you stop by and hang out for a hunt, and we're going to be doing this quite a bit, so if you see me go live, and usually I'll throw up the live, going live, and it'll be like less than an hour. I'm going to, fire it up. So not always a lot of notice, but it'll always be watchable on the rewind if that's how you want to watch. But I know our videos usually don't get watched. So it's cool to sit here live with somebody when you're actually doing it. So thanks, Brandon. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night.